Since Justin Trudeau became Prime Minister, Liberal parties provincially have been all but wiped out, not just obviously the NDP losing in Alberta, but Doug Ford with a strong victory in Ontario, Francois Legault and his coalition Avenir Quebec beating the Liberals in Quebec, and even provinces in the Atlantic turned blue. Shockingly, Prince Edward Island amongst them. Well, the Liberals hung on, at least with their fingernails, in Newfoundland, where they maintain a minority government, and our own Keean Bexte was there on the ground on election night last night. Keean, you're back in Calgary now. Tell me how it was in Newfoundland.
It was a bit chillier than I expected. I should have brought a jacket, but I was happy to see one thing. I was happy to see the Liberals lose ground. Maybe the blue wave didn't make it all the way out to the Atlantic province, but the red swamp certainly receded a little bit. I can see a path to the Liberals losing control over the government within the year. Ches Crosbie said that in his not really a concession speech. He wouldn't concede because he did say that the government would collapse within a year. So we're going to see if that actually does happen. But they're holding on by a hair. They have 20 seats. And they need 21 to form a majority government, and that's before they even elect a speaker. So they still have to elect a speaker. They have to decide if that speaker is going to be from the government caucus, if it's going to be from the 3 NDP seats, or if it's going to be one of the 2 independents that were elected. 2 independents being elected was huge news for them because there's only 4 independent candidates that have ever been elected in Newfoundland and Labrador before yesterday, or it could come from the Progressive Conservative Party. The Progressive Conservatives could put forward a name, and the NDP and the Independents could all band together and support that, which would be an interesting dynamic because having an opposition speaker controlling the House really could throw the government for a loop.
Isn't that interesting? I never thought of that possibility before. Well, tell me a little bit more about Newfoundland politics. I admit I haven't followed it closely. Now, you scrummed the PC leader who happens to be the son of John Crosbie. Why don't you set up the clip and we'll play it? He sure looks like John Crosbie. I'm of that generation who remembers John Crosbie, the Mulroney era cabinet minister. I sort of liked him. He had the gift of the gab. He had a sense of humor to him, as many Newfoundlanders do. Tell me a little bit about this clip and then we'll play it.
Ches Crosbie isn't a very dynamic leader. He's very monotone. Frankly, I don't know how he got into the position that he's in because he's not really an inspiring leader, at least from the few times I managed to chat with him. And what I would say about the Progressive Conservative Party in Newfoundland and Labrador compared to all of their Progressive Conservative Party peers, the Saskatchewan Party, the CAQ, and the United Conservative Party, all these right-wing parties, the Newfoundland and Labrador Party are probably the most left-wing out of the bunch. They're probably conservative in name only, really. Their platform wasn't really that much different from the Liberals. So that's the foundation for the questions that I was asking him.
All right, well, let's play that clip now. And it sounds like it was a question about a Conservative candidate who had made a pro-life statement. Let's play your clip, and then maybe you can explain it a bit for us.
Do you think that your flip-flop on kicking out a social conservative candidate hurt your credibility?
That was not a flip-flop.
Or was it?
It was an affirmation of the values of the people of Newfoundland and Labrador.
All right, well, what's he talking about? What are you talking about? So there was one of his candidates made some statement about being pro-life. I mean, surely, Justin Trudeau has weeded out any pro-life candidates from the federal Liberal Party. Are you telling me that the Newfoundland Conservatives have taken the Trudeau approach?
Oh, absolutely. That's exactly what they've done. In the same way that they've taken the Liberal approach to childcare, the Liberals campaigned on $25 a day childcare, and the Progressive Conservatives just copied and pasted that platform point into their campaign. It's not a very conservative idea, especially when each Newfoundland and Labradorian shares $30,000 in government debt. But to talk about this pro-life individual, from what I understand, I was speaking with people on the ground, he didn't really even share anything too crazy. He shared an article from LifeSite, which you know is the pro-life website, and just doing that alone caused this Labradorian candidate to be turfed. At first, the reason why it's a flip-flop, Ches said, oh no, whatever, it's fine, I guess. We're dynamic, we're broad tent party. And then the next day he's like, oh, never mind, I got to backtrack on that. You're out of there. So it really gives you the sense that he's either A, not in control of his party, or he is, and he's just a complete amateur about it.
That's an excerpt from the Ezra Levant show. Every day I do a video monologue and then I interview an interesting guest, and then I end by reading my hate mail. But you've got to subscribe to it, which you can do at therebel.media/shows.